Hey, welcome back. I'm Patrick, this is Rustaholic, and we're still working on my 1969 Plymouth Fury. And why are we doing that? Because it just keeps leaking, and I hate leaking cars, so it got pulled out again. This is the fourth time that I've pulled this engine and transmission out, but both were leaking. Here's a quick shot of the last time I drove it into the shop, and here's the puddle. Check it out. All right, so that's not sustainable. Can't have that. I'm okay with just a couple drips here and there, but that every time I'm driving it is not going to work. So we're into it again. I'm going to be doing some new stuff, so I'm pretty excited about it. I did have some people come over and try to give me a little bit of advice, real mechanics and all. And honestly, at the end of the day, they said my rear main seal, these funky little tabs on it, I did the best I could do, and I didn't really do anything wrong, and it's kind of a crapshoot trying to get these things in there. So we're going to try something a little bit different this time, because I always like to change it up just a little bit. Also, they said while I was in there, I might as well change these bearings out. So I haven't done that the last few times, but it's not that expensive, and he explained to me it's pretty easy to do, so I went in and got some bearings. So we're going to change out all the main bearings and the rod bearings while we're in there. And I am planning to keep this car for a long time. So, heck, might as well while I'm in there. And hopefully, this will be the last time I'm actually tearing this engine apart. I'm hoping for 3 years. That might be a stretch, but I'm like, can we just get a few years out of it? And then additionally, my transmission was leaking too. Now, not a lot, but it was still leaking. It's seeping right out of the bottom. And if you watched any of my other videos, you could see the frustration I had with that. Those little O-rings that go around it, I ordered like 4 of those things, and they were all different sizes. So the one I have in there still isn't working. So we're going to get a little bit crazier on that, and we're going to do something new with that as well. But otherwise, it's really just going to start with the bearings first. There is one little spot on my crank that I'm going to clean up. Just one little, I wouldn't even call it a nick, but there's definitely something there. It's right here, and it might actually be touching the seal. It might not. We don't know, but want to make sure that gets totally cleaned up and totally smooth. But we're going to do that. We're going to do the bearings. Yeah, and then we're going to tackle this rear main seal. So let's see if we can get to that today. If not, there's always tomorrow. All right, let's do it. Before you get started, if you're actually trying to do this at the house and doing this yourself, there's one thing that's not shown on my video that I totally made a mistake on, and I want to make sure that nobody else does. Before you start pulling these caps off, take a look at them. Make sure that they are marked. A lot of these have stamps on the end of the caps, and I'm going to show you a couple pictures here. Some of these are not real obvious. For me, I didn't even see them at all. I was trying to just keep them on the bench in the right order, as careful as I can, and I've done it before successfully, but this time I don't know what happened. I mixed them up at some point in the process, and at the end of the day, when I tried to rotate that the crank around thinking that I was all done, it didn't move, and I had a real panic. So don't let this happen to you. Mark these caps before you remove them, and check them for stamps also, because luckily I was able to jump on a forum. People with more experience than I have was able to lead me in the right direction. Luckily, I did have the stamps, and I was able to sort it out. And at the end of the day, we were all good. But just fair warning: before you jump into this, before you do this, mark all your stamps. Sharpie, tape, whatever. Actual stamp it yourself if there doesn't want to exist. And here's a couple pictures of the stamps that I had. Some of them had the exact same stamp on both the rod side and the cap side, and some had a single number stamped across both. So trying to get those lined up or guessing which ones those went to can be kind of a struggle. So it does make a huge difference, and luckily I was able to catch it. If I didn't, and it was maybe off just a little bit, I could have had some real major engine damage. Just make sure you mark those caps. All right, let's check it out. All right, I'm just gonna go this way and let's do these mains first. It's got this tiny little screwdriver. It's got these little tabs here. And it just pops out just like that. So I'm just gonna clean this up just a little bit. Get my replacement. Should be this guy. Match him up. And just drop it in. That's it. That's all. That's what I'm gonna do. So I'm just gonna keep going. All right. Pull it out. And drop another one in. All right, same thing. Started working on the main caps, and I noticed that my old one has a smooth, so this would be the bottom of the engine, and it's totally smooth, whereas my new bearing is grooved with a hole in it. That worried me at first, but looking at the forums, doesn't matter. We're gonna go with it. This isn't a race car. This is just a '69 Plymouth Fury III, and we're just going to replace it with the new ones we got and move forward. So same process as the underside. Just gonna kind of pop these guys out. Where'd my screwdriver go? Clean them up, pop the new ones in, and move forward. And we'll be back in a minute. Okay, the mains are all set and ready to go, and now I'm just going to do the same thing with the rod bearings. I'm just going to pop them out. Clean them up. And put a new one in without dropping it into the engine. That's the goal today. All right, and that's about it. And we'll just keep doing that with the rest of them. Now, I noticed in the package, I got 2 sets of these, but they're exactly the same. So I'm just gonna use these and roll these all out, and we'll use the other side on the top, on the caps, and we'll go from there. So, be right back. All right, we've got everything ready to go in the engine. All the caps have been replaced here. And now we're gonna focus our attention on this one little item. Can you see it right there? It's the only part where I can actually kind of feel that with my fingernail. It feels like this is where the old rope seal used to be, and for whatever reason, this just is, it's chipped out or something. It's like, it's not there. And it's possible that this seal ends up, you know, right in that zone. So that might be a reason why I'm leaking. So I'm gonna try to polish this up real quick and see if we can't get that smooth. And then I think we're ready for some plastic gauge. So we'll see how that works out. Back in. There's some good news and some bad news. Bad news is, after cleaning this thing down, I can still feel it. I think it's an actual like nick in it. But I think the original rope seal was so thick that it just covered it and nobody ever knew, because that part was still nice and shiny and everything else was kind of worn like you see it here. Now the good news is when I line up the seal and everything back where it should go, if it lines up like it's supposed to, you can kind of see where that seal goes, and it should be in front of the nick. So I think we're just gonna press forward and say that we did as good as we can here, and that seal should land right there, so it should not be affected by that tiny nick. At least that's what I'm hoping happens, because that's what I got going on. All right, moving on. Okay, I don't know if this is gonna work, but it's time to actually put the crank in. And last time I did it, my kids came in and helped me, but I'm in a situation today where there's nobody here. So I literally have to try to do it myself. I have it in the configuration. I'm gonna drop it in here, and I think these two are gonna go high, so these can stay low. But you see I've got some strings here tied together to where I think I may be able to drop that in there. So we will see if that will work. And we're doing this completely dry because we need to make sure that the plastic gauge itself is going to be work. So this is going to come out at least one more time is what I'm saying. But all right, let's try it. Oh God, this is heavy. Where do these go? Here. Oh, I got that one. Oh, we got that one. We're in. Wait. Yep. Oh, fail. And fail. Okay. I'm gonna have to pull this guy back, and this guy's gotta come back. But we're close. This part is working. All right, so this one and this one, we got to pull back. Or I suppose I could rotate it and get it in. I don't want to do that. I just want to be able to set it in there. So I'm going to move this one. I'll move this one and we'll get it in one shot. We know it's possible now. All right. Oh, it's heavy though. It's heavy. All right, here we go. Last try. Or hopefully last try. Oh, fail. Come on. There we go. All right, I think we got it. I'm gonna get all of this back together. Well, not back together. I really just need to pull all these up. Get them ready for the plastic gauge, and then we'll plastic gauge all of it, torque it down, and see where we're at. So I'm just cutting it so that it'll be the same width as whatever I'm checking, and I'm sticking it on there, but it doesn't stick super awesome. It's a little nervous making because I don't want it to fall into the engine. I want it to stick to this rod. So I think what I'm going to do is once I get these stuck, I'm going to put the caps on each one just so I can make sure these just don't fall off while I'm doing the rest. So like now I'm gonna go ahead and put those caps on. Hopefully putting the caps on. Oh. All right, that should hold it enough to make sure that plastic gauge doesn't go anywhere while I continue to do the rest. All right, new plan. What we're gonna do is just tighten down the caps first. Test those, and then I'll do these caps, and then I'll rotate it, and I'll finally test these, because I can't even get to these bolts. So I think I'm just going to test the mains first, get those all the way down to 85 foot-pounds torqued, check those, or actually I might torque these down too as well, and then check all of this and the mains, and then I'll rotate it so that I can check these last two rods here properly, and I think that should be fine. Anyway, that's what I think should be fine. You guys tell me how I'm messing this up. So we'll see how this goes. All right, we're on the final torque specs for the rod. That's at 45. Or, well, let's go ahead and go 45 for these two. Oh, that's not much. Yeah, let's just take it up to 60 before going all the way to 85. We'll go 65. Why not? 65. Not much there either. No, you're getting there when the engine stand starts moving. All right, 85, final number. All right, 85 foot-pounds, that's it. Now I'll take all the mains off and we'll check it. Take the caps off of these two rods here. We'll check those and we'll see if we are in clearance. What is that? I don't even know. Gotta look that up. All right, here's the results. I don't know if you can see it, but it's all very consistent across the board. Nothing crazy there. I'll look up the spec, but I think that's good, but I will look it up and see just to be sure. But next up is I'll take care of these two here, these two rods here, and yeah, do the same thing. And then I think that's it for the bearings, really, because after that I'm going to take the crank back out, and then we have to deal with that rear main seal, because once the crank goes back in, it's in for good. So rear main seal, and of course we'll lube everything up when that crank goes in for the last time. But I think we're going to call it for this episode. That's it for rod and main bearings on the 69 Fury. Thank you all very much for watching. Comment, like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. All right, talk to you soon. Bye.